If you're looking to enhance your F-150's ride quality and off-road performance, the Fox Performance Series 2.0 front coilover IFP shock for 0 to 2-inch lifted 2021 and newer four-wheel drive F-150s, but excluding the Raptor, is going to be a top-tier upgrade worth considering. This Fox 2.0 coilover is designed to significantly improve both on and off-road handling, offering better control, stability, and comfort over the stock suspension components. The IFP design, or internal floating piston, separates the nitrogen gas from the shock oil, reducing fade during prolonged or aggressive use. That means consistent performance whether you're tackling trails, hauling loads, or just navigating some uneven pavement. With the ride height adjustability for up to 2 inches of lift, this coilover also allows for clearance for larger tires and wheels while maintaining optimal geometry. It's tuned for better dampening and rebound, giving your F-150 a more planted and confident ride, especially over rough terrain or during some sudden maneuvers. These coilovers are going to be ideal for drivers who want noticeable improvements in responsiveness and durability without going to those full race specs with a higher price tag. This shock body is going to be crafted from 2-inch aluminum for improved heat dissipation and corrosion resistance. It features a race-proven monotuned design and a high-quality coil spring built to handle demanding conditions. This anodized finish ensures long-lasting durability and corrosion resistance, and the precision engineering is going to reflect Fox's reputation for premium off-road components. Now, as far as the pricing goes on this, it is coming in right around that $700 price range. So for a premium part, it does command a premium price. But the performance gains and the build quality are going to justify that price tag. For F-150 owners that are serious about ride improvement and front-end control, this is going to be a solid value. When it comes to the install, this may require some basic mechanical knowledge, so we're getting it rated a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. And you can have it installed in about 1 hour of your time if everything goes smooth. Now, let's head on out to the shop and they're going to give you a detailed walkthrough of exactly how this install process goes.
For this install, you need a 3/8 impact, a 21 deep and swivel socket, a 19 and 18 millimeter socket, a marker, a 27, 17, and 15 millimeter wrench, a hammer, a pry bar. All right, today we're going to be installing a lift kit on our F-150, so let's get started. All right, so we're going to start off by disconnecting our sway bar link from our knuckle just to get us a little bit more movement. So we're going to grab our impact and 21 millimeter socket and take this nut off. Now we're going to get our sway bar link out. If you need to, you can use a little pry bar just to give it a little pivot to free that up. Next, we're going to disconnect our tie rod. So we're going to take our same 21 millimeter socket and take off our nut. Now you see that came loose, came out of our knuckle. If you need to, you can grab a hammer if it's stuck and just tap right here. Should break it free. Just gonna let that rest down like so. We're gonna switch to our 18 millimeter socket and take off our 2 nuts on the lower control arm for our strut. Now we're gonna take our 2 bolts out of the back of our control arm. So I'm gonna take a marker and actually just outline our nut here, just so we can put that in a similar place when going back together. This is a slotted hole, so I'll move back and forth. You will need alignment after this, so this just gets us close enough. So we're gonna grab our impact and 21 millimeter socket on the head and a 27 millimeter wrench on the nut and take both the front and the back bolts out. So let's leave that loose for now. We're gonna make sure we mark the rear bolt too. And then take this one out too. Bolts out. Make sure you have a handle on this because this will swing down. We're just gonna wiggle that off of our strut studs like so. Now that the bottom of our strut is loose, we're gonna take our 15 millimeter ratcheting wrench and take our top 3 nuts off up here. Once you get them loose, you can just spin them off. We're gonna do 2 of them, and then the last one you'll need to support the strut to help get off. So we'll spin that off and then take our strut out completely. Now that you have your factory strut out, you can go ahead and repeat the same thing on the other side. Now we can get our new strut in place. So I have my washer and lock nut that'll go on the top. We're just gonna get this pushed up in here. And we're just gonna loosely install our 3 washers and nuts up top, and we'll come back and tighten them later. So now we're gonna get our lower control arm back in place with our bolts back in the subframe. Now this is a little difficult. You just gotta maneuver it just right. Definitely be easier with some help, but you can do this by yourself. So we're gonna just get this lined up. We're just gonna thread our bolts on for right now, and we'll come back and tighten them. We just need to get our strut bolts in first. Now we have our supplied bolts and flat washers that will go into our new strut. Now these don't have studs on them. They have a bolt that just goes up through the bottom. You're just gonna need to line them up and get them started. Get both of these started. And we're gonna grab our impact and 19mm deep socket and tighten those 2 down. So we're gonna switch to our 21mm socket and our 27mm wrench and go ahead and tighten down our control arm. You just wanna make sure you line it up as close as possible with your marks. And the same thing on the other bolt. Next, get your tie rod back in place. Thread on your 21mm nut. Grab your socket and impact and tighten that down. Next, we're gonna get our sway bar link back in place. Now, if you need to, grab your pry bar, just get that lined up. Thread your nut on and grab your impact and 21mm socket, tighten that down. Last thing we have to do on this side is to tighten our top 3 nuts for our strut. So I have our 17mm ratcheting wrench. Go ahead and tighten those 3 down. Now once you have this side all put back together, you can go ahead and repeat all those same steps on the other side of the truck. And that wraps up our install of our Fox Performance Series 2.0 front coilover IFP shock for a 0 to 2 inch lift for our 2021 and newer 4-wheel drive F-150, excluding the Raptor. And remember, for everything F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.